5 News This Morning starts now.
Coming up, prison officials will meet with the legislative committee to answer questions about the escape and capture of prisoner Grant Harden. We'll have more on that meeting.
And we're very quiet in terms of rainfall. Maybe a stray storm today, dry tomorrow, but they pick back up for the weekend into early next week. We'll talk about those rain chances and the heat coming up.
A lot of legislation, both federally and on the state level, very, very closely.
Plus, how the new federal spending bill could impact gun sales around the country.
A live look outside in Bentonville, 6:30. Good morning to you there. Thanks so much for waking up with us here on 5 News. It is the Friday Eve, so it's your Thursday here. We got one more day to go, and it's already been a long week already because not only are we sweating out here, I mean, flash flooding this week. What's next?
Well, it's going to be very quiet over the next couple of days. If you don't mind the heat, then the next couple of days will be your cup of tea. If you like the rain, then you'll have to wait for this weekend. You might be thinking, well, that seems kind of an oxymoron because we don't want it to rain on the weekend. Well, that chance will be elevated. But for the next couple of days, it's going to be dry and it's going to be hot. But we're going to have some beautiful sunrises like this one here, just basically anywhere you go across the region. Fort Smith, there is a little bit of some low-hanging cloud cover. There's just a lot of moisture left over from the rain on Wednesday. So we are seeing, or excuse me, Tuesday. So we are seeing a little bit of that here in the area, but eventually it will thin out. We'll see plenty of these skies across the region. We'll take a look here at Fayetteville. You can see a beautiful orange hue there in the background in downtown Fayetteville. We'll go to the homeland of Scott Covert. You see a nice shot there along the Arkansas River. Again, a beautiful shot no matter where you are in the region. Now, eventually for this afternoon, into the morning hours, we're going to see, or the morning into the afternoon, we'll see maybe a stray storm chance. Otherwise, we're going to see those clouds build back in this afternoon, but still see a good amount of sunshine as well. Temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s in northwest Arkansas, and the low to mid 90s for highs in the River Valley. And then looking ahead to this weekend, that rain chance does pick up for us on Saturday, but especially Saturday night into the day on Sunday. I think Sunday will be your best chance of storms across the region for us over the next 7 days. So we'll talk a little bit further about that rain chance coming up in your full forecast. For now, we'll take a look at traffic. We'll go near the Fort Smith area on I-540 at Phoenix Avenue. A nice beautiful orange hue there. You can see the sun just trying to peek over that cloud on the right side of your screen. Good morning to you across the 5 News coverage area. Again, we'll talk more about those rain chances as well as the heat on the way here coming up in your full forecast. Jacob and Joe.
All right, thanks for that. Well, breaking overnight, the Los Angeles Fire Department rescuing 31 workers that were trapped in an industrial tunnel. Now, this is footage of the scene. It collapsed about 5 to 6 miles from the entry point there. The workers were able to climb over a 12-foot high pile of loose soil to reach the other side. Now, from there, they were taken by tunnel to a vehicle to the access point. The fire department says that thankfully no one had any visible injuries.
Had over 100 resources that were here, over 100 firefighters and paramedics here to respond to this incident.
Officials say the tunnel is part of a municipal wastewater project. In Central Texas, it is now 7th day of searching for more than 170 still missing after last week's flood in Texas.
Amid the cleanup, questions about the systems meant to help notify people. John David Challenger, a former Kirk County IT director, was part of the team that installed the county's Code Red phone-based warning system. He recorded the moment volunteer firefighters requested a Code Red alert as early as 4:22 a.m.
Is there any way we can send a Code Red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
Standby, we have to get that approved with our supervisor.
Some survivors report getting a Code Red alert an hour later. Trollinger says his didn't come until after 10 a.m. The Kerr County Sheriff says the incident will be reviewed. Meanwhile, the community is trying to heal through prayer, song, and service as flags were lowered to half-staff across Texas. And in Pennsylvania, 3 people were saved from their cars during a water rescue in Chadds Ford. This as severe weather moved through the Philadelphia region last night. One EMS captain says crews found 2 vehicles and a total of 3 people inside who were trapped. He says crews deployed a water rescue boat and were able to get them out of their vehicles uninjured.
Well, here at home, high water levels on the Arkansas River are creating a choppy time for boaters and businesses. Experts say the issues could linger for months. The Little Rock U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says that a small craft advisory has been in effect since April because the river is moving well above a threshold of 70,000 cubic feet per second. The river remains below flood stage, but parts of the river trail there on the North Little Rock side are underwater.
High water has a far-reaching impact. In some places it floods. We're not flooding here, fortunately, but in some of the lower spots along the river corridor it floods. So this high water impacts a lot of people negatively.
The Port of Little Rock, those there say it expects river levels to reach more than 13 feet by the end of the week.
And today, a double murder trial begins in Crawford County.
5 News' Emily Moss joining us now with more on this case. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe and Jacob. This double murder happened in 2023, and now nearly 2 years later, we're expecting to learn why prosecutors say Cooper Wesley allegedly pulled the trigger. Authorities have never released what they thought his motive was. I spoke to prosecuting attorney Kevin Holmes, who confirmed to me one of the victims was Wesley's biological father, but not his legal one. At the time, Wesley allegedly confessed to police that he shot both of these men at different homes, but he is pleading not guilty in the case. If Wesley is convicted, Holmes tells me they are not pursuing the death penalty in the case. Jacob?
Thank you, Emily. One person is dead after a deadly shooting in Centerton. It happened nearly early Wednesday morning on Willow Drive near East Centerton Boulevard. Benton County Coroner Daniel Oxford was at the scene. He said he believes someone has been connected to the shooting. He also says that person has been called in for questioning, but no arrests have been made at this time. The Centerton Police Department has not returned our calls yet. We'll keep an eye out for any developments in the investigation. And new this morning, Arkansas state prison officials will testify in front of a legislative subcommittee about the escape of convicted murderer Grant Hardin. About 10 members of the Department of Corrections, along with the warden of the North Central Unit, are expected to testify today. The subcommittee is made up of 10 state representatives and 10 state senators. Arkansas State Senate President Pro Temp Bart Hester says he wants answers on how Grant Hardin obtained materials to make his disguise, how he was able to leave the prison grounds, and how he evaded capture for so long.
Important that we have these hearings. Look, and they're not a gotcha. They're not a disciplinary. We want some transparency. We want the people of Arkansas to know that we're doing a great job, to know that we found something that we're fixing. And what happened there, right? Transparency is going to be the key to just continue to let the people of Arkansas know they're safe. Our prison system's doing a great job.
The meeting is expected to take place today at 3 p.m. in Little Rock. And the Arkansas Department of Corrections has already made personnel changes because of the May escape.
Spokesperson Rand Champion says because the investigation is ongoing, he can't tell us who was involved or what exactly happened, though we have requested those public records from the DOC. We're waiting for that response. Now, the part where Hardin wore a fake law enforcement uniform and was let out through a secure gate, bypassing any normal checks, that is a big concern. At a Board of Corrections meeting last month, members said this wasn't a policy issue, but a failure by 2 staff members. And we're learning one of the victims in a fireworks explosion in Tuskahoma, Oklahoma, has died. Eli Smith's aunt confirming he died Tuesday from injuries suffered in a firework explosion back on July 2nd. Smith was a graduate of Vian High School and one of 3 victims admitted in critical condition. Now, this incident happened just a day before the Choctaw Nation's annual Boom in the Valley event. Family said funeral arrangements for Smith should be announced today.
And it's been 6 days since a new federal budget bill was signed into law. This morning, Carter Thweet tells us how a couple of lines in that bill could have an effect on gun owners across the country.
Arkansas Armory in Sherwood owner Nathan House has been keeping an eye on the GOP's Big Beautiful Bill.
We follow a lot of legislation, both federally and on the state level, very, very closely.
And now parts of the bill will directly impact the firearm industry and House's store.
Whenever a customer wants to buy a silencer or a short-barreled rifle, they had to fill out a form and as part of that process pay a $200 tax to the federal government.
But now the bill says the tax will only stay in place for machine guns and destructive devices like grenade launchers. That means for things like suppressors and short-barreled rifles and shotguns, the tax will soon be totally gone.
The $200 elimination doesn't go into effect immediately. It actually doesn't start until January 1st of 2026 because of the language and how the timing works in the bill. So We're kind of on hold right now. Anything bought today would still be subject to the $200 tax.
And House believes this could lead to legal action down the road, as the $200 tax was part of the National Firearms Act of 1934. With the tax eliminated, he says other parts of the act could soon be challenged too, possibly leading to big wins for gun rights advocates and big losses for those in favor of gun control.
And that's opened the door to major challenges and major lawsuits that can then follow to eliminate the rest of the National Firearms Act potentially. So we could see some of the biggest changes since 1934 take place over the next couple of years.
Carter Thweet, 5 News.
And some of that legal action has already begun. Just 2 days ago, the National Rifle Association announced a lawsuit to dismantle the National Firearms Act by challenging its constitutionality.